Namibia Chamber of Commerce and Industry hosted its annual Swakopmund International Trade Expo, Swaitex, under the theme Towards a Shared Economic Vision, Our Shared Destiny. President Hage Geingob, as well as the President of Zambia, Hakainde Michilema, co-officiated the expo. The expo called on that is private and public sector in Namibia and Zambia to cooperate in order to contribute to developments of the two countries. We're so happy on the line, joining us with details. That is Namibia Chamber of Commerce and Industry's Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Charity Moya. Very good morning, ma'am. How are you doing?
Good morning, Nicole. Can you hear me this time
around? I can. How are you doing on this beautiful Monday morning?
Great. Appreciating the weather. And how are you doing?
Oh, yes, the same as you, ma'am. The same as you. Okay, ma'am, so just getting... Fantastic. So now your theme for this year was Towards a Shared Economic Vision, Our Shared Destiny. That was the theme of the conference as we just established. Now, just taking a little bit of stock, has the conference reached its intended target, would you say?
Absolutely. I think the theme resonates to our vision, not just as Namibia, but also our neighboring economies, as well as our regional other countries within the continent. We have a shared vision of ensuring that Africa can be developed by its own people. Africa can actually be skilled people. Africa can have a thriving enterprise sector that can create jobs for its own people. Africa can actually be speaking in the same direction in terms of how we would like to see our vision realized, as alluded for in our respective countries' visions, but also the continental vision in terms of Agenda 2063. So we created that platform under that theme, first of all, to ensure that we are able to bring the conversations around that journey, around that vision within the platform of Swaitex. And I'm glad that we were able to actually accomplish that because we saw the representation of participation of businesses from Zambia, the agencies that are involved in trade facilitation in our two economies also participating. But more importantly, the confidence by our two leaders, heads of state, ensuring that they graced the occasion with their presence, not just to officiate, but also ensuring that they were able to engage in constructive discussions with our industry leaders throughout the time that they were able to actually to offer to us.
Indeed. Now, speaking of which, ma'am, President Hage Geingob emphasized that, economic development cannot take place in a vacuum and that trade platforms should be utilized to foster a spirit of integration and obviously cooperation. From your side, again, what can be done to foster this?
Well, first of all, it's important to emphasize that integration is a multidimensional phenomenon. It involves infrastructure, it involves connectivity, it involves circulation of people, it involves technologies and knowledge. And absolutely, a platform like Swaitex, which is one of the trade facilitation platform, was able and continues to provide a lot of opportunities for trade where we are able to bring products from our various economies and the services in that platform, but also to find out from each other what are those key hotspots, regional activities that can actually be involved more in our regional value chains. It was important to see the representation, particularly of our trade ministers, who, when it comes to policy as well, we were able to actually engage them. So a platform of that nature involves not just showcasing our products, but also to engage in constructive dialogue with the policymakers so that the issues that business people are actually faced with can also be discussed. And we are also able to provide opportunities to the people that are involved in the business activities to bring forth or propose solutions in terms of the challenges that they actually go through. So definitely a platform of that nature also was to ensure that everybody is actually brought on the board, brought on the journey, and is actually accommodated. It's not just looking at corporates, but also in terms of the composition or the representation of the businesses that participate on those platforms. We are speaking of ensuring that women-run businesses, youth-run businesses are also carried through, because these are the people that would be involved more in our value chain activities as we speak of regional integration. And I believe that platforms like Swaitex, which is a trading platform, actually provides all those opportunities. And we really agree and echo the words of His Excellency in terms of ensuring that those platforms really create those opportunities to realize our integration. If you saw Swaitex, even at the beginning when we opened, first of all, it had a cultural dimension. It's important that we understand each other's culture. And that platform was able to actually demonstrate or display the different cultures that identify the Namibian house that others are able to identify with. We were able to bring a composition of entrepreneurs that were involved in different activities, whether it's in terms of the products that they manufacture, the services that I offer. And how do they speak to integration those products? Making sure that we provide platforms for engagement by the businesses of the two economies so that they're able to also identify more opportunities that would really ensure that that integration is actually realized.
Indeed, indeed. Namibia and Zambia have transformed tremendously over the past several decades, and I think it's just beautiful to see this. How does the NCCI intend to harness this, ma'am?
Well, importantly is, I think it's important for us to appreciate the fact that, at government level, some prerequisites have already been actually put in place to realize that. First, Namibia was able to actually avail a dry port facility for Zambia. That already speaks volumes. The infrastructure that Namibia is actually developing, our corridors to facilitate that, speaks volumes. But also ensuring that as chambers, we were able to bring our business people together. But as chambers also, we've actually been engaging even before Swaitex, prior to that, that bring together the issues that we hear from our members, our business communities. We have to work more closely in terms of actually developing a strategy that would actually enhance our trade activities between our two economies. And that strategy is one that would actually be able to our two governments, actually more or less like creating your checklist, that these are the issues that we know are coming from our business people. And these are the issues that we need to make sure that as at the chamber level and private sector, we are able to actually push. And these are some of the issues that we need to address with our governments. So from the chamber perspective, it's really to educate our members. What does this integration really mean? And what developing activities around enhancing our relationships with Zambia and many other countries within the region, that they come in and bring in their part in terms of the issues they would want to see actually being addressed, and also playing their part in terms of really making proposals towards the resolve of those issues.
Indeed, Ms. Muya, I'm really absorbing everything you are saying. But before we do run out of time, Namibia and Zambia also obviously use this platform to advance their bilateral relations, more specifically trade and investment, into new era of advanced cooperation. Take us through some of the resolutions taken during the Expo.
Yes, I think one of the highlights was the commitment that was also endorsed by our two heads of state, that the two chambers must have a formalized platform for engagement. And the commitment, one of the commitments that we have done as Namibia, as NCCI, we will lead a business delegation to Zambia early next year, where we're going to formalize that engagement through a formalized MOU, where we'll now identify the specifics in terms of strategy that we want actually to. So that would also formalize the Namibia-Zambia Business Forum for a start. But also, I think there were quite a number of issues that were actually raised. For example, the issue of cross-border delays in terms of improving the turnaround time, the efficiencies of our border activities or our border services. Those are some of the issues that were actually highlighted. Also ensuring like the effective facilitation of movements of people, that we know those restrictions that are there that actually would affect the turnaround time in terms of people that are actually trading across border, those are actually addressed. The issues of also looking at our currencies, that how do we trade, since we are seeing the volumes of trade actually and the trading activities that are happening with Zambia as our neighboring countries, and many of the people that live particularly around the borders and the kind of volumes that are moving along our corridors, how do we ease many of these activities or the facilitating the movement of people? Those are some of the highlights that were actually highlighted. But also the fact that His Excellency President Hakainde Michilema had an opportunity to visit some of the port facilities in the oil storage facility. There were issues where now they're looking at, how are they able now to be able to actually utilize or cooperate in terms of utilizing some of these facilities so that Zambia can also be able to actually import cheap oil using the facilities that are provided by our facilities at the ports. But also our president highlighted the discoveries of oil in Namibia, but also our green hydrogen agenda. How is Zambia now also tapping into that and seeing any opportunities through that? We're talking about, skills transfer, but also the opportunities that these developments are also availing for our business communities. These were some of the highlights that actually came out of this meeting, but importantly that we engage more of our private sector to ensure that that platform that we're going to create will actually be more effective in terms of ensuring that the issues that are brought forth are tracked, but the speed resolve of some of those issues or the challenges that are brought forth.
Ms. Muya, it's so satisfying to hear how successful your event was. We'd like to thank you so much for your time this morning, and yes, thanks for speaking to us.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the good coverage of the event as well. Continue to support us, because that's the only way we get to inform our business people of what we're actually doing for them. Thank you so much for having me on the program this morning as well.
You're so welcome. You're very welcome. There you have it, the Chief Executive Officer of the Namibia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Ms. Charity Muya, speaking to us about the just ended, that is Swaitex Expo, their annual expo that takes place in Swakopmund, that was under the theme towards a shared economic vision, our shared destiny. And you would have had noticed or noted that from what she was saying, it was a very, very successful event that is obviously for both Namibia and Zambia. We continue after the break. Don't go.